Alright fellas, I'll be making this short guide on how to shop as safe as possible on Aliexpress. Some things to do, some things to avoid, and some things to look out for. You don't have to do any of these things, you don't have to listen to me, but I feel like it might help someone out there because I saw a lot of people getting easily scammed on Aliexpress. You can do a few simple things to avoid that as much as possible. These steps are totally optional, but I feel like it's kind of necessary, especially if you're like oriented around privacy and trying to keep your data safe. So here are a couple things you can do. Number one is to get a fresh email account. So it doesn't really matter what you use because you're simply going to use an email to sign in to AliExpress and maybe make a TikTok account if you want to use TikTok Shop. And you're going to keep that email address separate from anything else. You're not going to use it for anything else other than AliExpress. So it doesn't matter if, Google has that information or not. But yeah, you can use Gmail, Yahoo, Hotmail, etc. Whatever email service you want to use, you can use that service to create a new email account. Okay, the second thing you may want to consider is a dummy phone number. So you have to put in your phone number for the orders, and I would be really hesitant about giving any company my phone number because once they have your phone number, there's a lot of harm they can do in terms of impersonating you or trying to hijack your accounts. So one thing I would do is I would use a dummy phone number. A very easy way to use a dummy phone number is by using Google Voice. So you do have to sign in with the Gmail account, and then you do have to put in your real phone number. This is the best and simplest way that I know possible to get a dummy phone number. So once you sign in, you just put in your phone number and then you get set up and then you just pick a phone number. It's super simple. Anyone can do it. There's a couple settings I would turn off. So there's one where your Google Voice phone calls will get forwarded to your real phone. You don't want that. Yeah. This is just the phone number to put in for AliExpress and TikTok Shop and whatnot. And so you're not going to answer any calls on it. You can see the messages. So if anything happens to your order and they call you, which I don't think they will, but if they do, then you can see that once you log into Google Voice. Okay, the third step, I don't really like using VPNs because VPN services will just track your information. A lot of them say they don't, but most of them do. I guarantee it because there are a lot of VPN services that were revealed to be storing user data because it's just worth a lot of money, so why wouldn't they, right? Anyways, this is an extra layer of protection if you're worried about exposing your IP address. In my personal opinion, I don't think it's really necessary, but if you want to, you can go ahead and use a VPN. I haven't used Proton VPN, but I did hear other people recommend it. I can't vouch it for myself, but I do remember playing in a game tournament with a bunch of people from other countries playing, and they had to use Proton VPN to get in. Yeah, take it as you will. You can use whatever VPN you want if you want to. I don't think it's necessary. The fourth step is definitely recommended. I would get a protected form of payment, and PayPal is one of the easier ways. Now, whether or not you trust PayPal is another question. It's one layer of protection between you and your credit card being stolen. So when you pay for stuff on AliExpress and you use PayPal, PayPal will send the funds to the seller, and they don't get to see any of your credit card information. They do see your address, unfortunately, but that is one thing we'll talk about in the next step. So this will help you protect your credit card number from being stolen. Another great thing is if you have some sort of problem with your order, PayPal can sort of help you get sorted. Now the last step is doing a chargeback on your credit card, but yeah. Now, if you don't want to use PayPal, another option is using something called a privacy card. This is a fake virtual credit card. And so these are pretty nice. I haven't used this service specifically, but I've heard a lot of people mention this. Also, your bank may offer a free virtual card. That service may be included in whatever service you have if you have a credit card. So this will, again, if the number gets stolen, you just get rid of that credit card and make a new one. These are virtual credit cards and they don't really exist, so you just use it for the order and then it's gone. I use PayPal personally. I think PayPal is okay as well. I would definitely recommend not putting your credit card information into AliExpress. There are a lot of people where they have an okay experience, and that's fine, I guess. But there are definitely people where they report they had the credit card number stolen after using AliExpress. So I'll be very careful. I just noticed I had a typo there. Anyways, this next one is kind of hard to do because it costs a little bit of money, or you might not have the option available. I personally couldn't afford a PO box, but I'm looking to get one later in the future. But yeah, if you don't want to give the site your address, then you can use a PO box, and the PO box costs a lot of money. Especially the bigger PO boxes, they cost a decent amount of money. I have seen people use their work address, but you should always double check to see if your workplace will accept packages and if your bosses are okay with you getting mail at your workplace. That is one way to obfuscate your address and kind of hide that away. Finally, this is an optional step too, but if you're using the AliExpress app, and I would not recommend putting that on your phone. I wouldn't recommend it not putting TikTok on your phone as well. But if you have a dumb phone where it only connects to Wi-Fi and you're only using it with the app open, and then you turn it off when the app is not being used. The reason why I mentioned this is AliExpress has an app where you can play games and stuff and then get like, a couple dollars off. Maybe you can work towards $10 off or whatever. And the reason why I say put it on a dummy phone is any app that promises you money is getting something worth that money out of your phone. They're farming your phone somehow. They might be mining crypto on it. I don't know what they're doing, but there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, fellas. Okay? There's no reason for them to give you a free coupon for $20 off by playing a game and, having you be an ad person and just spam your friends for all these interactions to get more codes and stuff. They're getting something that's worth that $20 coupon, $10 coupon, whatever it is, out of you using that app on your phone. So I will be very careful about that. If you want to know, I keep apps off of my phone personally. I only have Firefox as the browser, and then I have Steam and Steam Chat. That's it. I have nothing else because I'm very skittish about installing things onto my phone. Alright, now that's done. Let's move on to things to do once you are shopping on AliExpress. So let's give some examples here. Lately, I've been looking at the TrimUI Smart Pro. I also hate shopping on this website because nothing works properly, but that's another story. Okay. So here we're looking for a TrimUI Smart Pro and it says $3 here. That's probably an SD card or something. Let's take a look here. Yeah, so this is one thing to look out for. They will bait and switch you by having a cheap item like a bag or an SD card, and then the actual items are way more expensive. So don't get duped. And then so let's say you do find a good deal, like from here, Cute's Living Store. This store is pretty legitimate. I've ordered some items from them and gotten them as described. But what you want to do is you want to hover over the store and you're going to check their open since date. And they've been open since 2019 in August. And then you want to check the detailed seller ratings. You want to make sure that it's green. So I think above 4.6 is good. I think 4.5 is where it starts to kind of yellow out there. But yeah, we're checking the open date. So you want to avoid stores that open that month. Usually they're scam stores. Not all the time, but enough of them are scam stores where if they have a deal that's too good to be true, it's not worth risking getting scammed just to save a few extra dollars. I would go with a trusted store, and those prices are usually what the going rate is because no store is going to sell cheaper than that when they can make that much money. It's just common sense. Another thing, the reason why we check for detailed store ratings is if they are scam stores, then eventually, once people get the items, they will start leaving negative reviews, but sometimes it takes a while. So that's why you want a store that's been around for a long time so that you know if they're legitimate or not. Now, unfortunately, these numbers can be faked, so you have to take the numbers with a grain of salt. All right, third thing. So once you check the store and you realize that it is not opened in that last month and the numbers are green, we're going to look at the numbers sold. So if you look here in this section, it'll say something like 2,000 plus sold. If you're looking at a listing and it says like 1 sold or like 30 sold, you may want to reconsider buying it from that store, especially if they're new and there are no ratings. So this number can unfortunately be faked, and I'm gonna show you how this and the reviews can be faked in just a bit. So we're gonna take a look at the reviews too. We're gonna look at the general reviews, the number of reviews as well. So this has 201 reviews, and then we're gonna check the reviews. And this is what I mean by the site not working. So when you click on the link, it doesn't go to reviews. You have to scroll all the way down. Okay, and what we're looking for are real people writing reviews. It's going to be a little bit tricky now with AI and auto generation of just text and stuff. So you're going to have to just read through and see what people are saying. It should match what people are saying on the subreddits and on YouTube, and just people writing reviews and experiences about the product, good and bad. So it should match. So as we're looking, if they have pictures, that's great. We're just looking for reviews that seem like it's written by a real person. And I saw a few like questionable ones. It was for RG351P listing, where it was a little bit cheaper than the official listings. And I believe it's because they were selling used consoles. So one guy wrote a review saying, hey, this is kind of used. Like it's in good condition, but it's used. And then the next review that came out was like, oh, this is great. It's definitely not used. That's a little fishy. I don't know about that. But anyways, so I'll show you how they fake it. This has happened to me one time, and it may happen to you in the future. And this is why you kind of want to protect your address and all your information. Okay, let's just say you're just chilling one day, and all of a sudden you get a package out of nowhere. You get a package. And it's like this random piece of jewelry that costs like 50 cents. And you're quizzical. You're like, what's going on here? I didn't order this. And here's what happened. So there's a seller that sent you that package, right? But then what they're doing is they're creating a listing for a more expensive item. And then they're leaving a review as you because they have your account information. So it'll be like, oh, Ducky gives it a 5 out of 5, a giant heart. But I'm like, I didn't order this product and I never left a review. And this is one thing they do because stores nowadays require you to ship a customer a product before they can leave a review. So they'll make a dummy account using your information, and they'll send you something that's worthless, but it'll be marked as an expensive item. And then they'll write a review or a dummy review. And this happens frequently. Another thing they do is the old bait and switch, where they will sell like a 32 gigabyte micro SD card, and then they will change the listing after they ship out legitimate items for low prices and people leave very positive reviews. They'll switch the listing to a fake 1 terabyte micro SD card. So you want to watch out. There's so many ways you can be scammed nowadays. The bottom line is, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. The only metric is if there are other people selling at that price that are legitimate, then it probably is a real deal. Okay, so sale dates. When can I expect sales? The most reliable one is at the beginning of every month. So the 1st to about the 5th, you'll get like $5 off of most items. So if you look at this listing here, you can expect this to go down to about $51 or so. And they may have some coupons that give you like a couple dollars off. For me, the coupons never always worked. Sometimes you have to claim it. Sometimes they run out. It's a little bit shady because they promise you money off and then it doesn't work. It's something that you got to deal with. The other sale dates are usually the big holidays. So Christmas, New Year's, Black Friday, etc. You can again expect a couple dollars off with some coupons. The deals never go really hard on these holidays for the most part. And then there's another one. This is something that doesn't exist in the US, but Singles Day is 11/11. So apparently, if you're single, you celebrate by consuming a lot of useless things. This holiday is really big in other countries, and you can see some deals there too. Now, the biggest sale that I ever saw was the anniversary sale, which is usually around in March. And if you want to know how big the deals were, not every place is going to have everything marked down, but the Trim UI Smart Pro from Q's Living was $41 at its lowest price. And you can get a $5 off coupon. Now you have to pay taxes, so the price is going to be around $41. That was a pretty good price for that console. I mean, $40 for that, So yeah, if you are looking for items, I would recommend waiting for the beginning of every month at the very least, or I would recommend waiting for the major holidays and then buy the items then, because you will save a decent amount of money. Now, one other thing, so those are the sale dates, but the date that you want to avoid is Lunar New Year. So during Lunar New Year, uh, no one works. And so they take a couple of days off before it starts. They travel to their families, and then for the next week or two, no one's working. So you want to avoid ordering during Lunar New Year. What I would do is I would avoid ordering for that month altogether. So this year it was around the middle of February. I just waited until March to order stuff if I wanted something. Like, it's not worth it, because what happens is all these orders will come in. Very few stores will tell people that they're not working. So it's kind of a debate, because they want you to keep ordering stuff, but then no one's going to be there to fulfill it. There's going to be no customer service if anything is wrong. And then when they come back, they have to work through a huge backlog of orders. And so it's going to take a while for your item to get out. So I would just avoid that entire mess and just order 3 weeks later. So if we take a look here, the Lunar New Year for 2025 is going to be in January 29th. So I would just avoid the entire month of February. I would just order on March again. I wouldn't order at least a week or 2 weeks before January 29th as well, because you may not get anything out. Yeah, you kind of want to avoid ordering during that time. It's just something you have to deal with. So a lot of people mention this, and not enough people take note, or they forget, and then they order something, and then they're like, hey, where's my order? It's been like 3 weeks. And it's because you ordered it during Lunar New Year. All right, now moving on to scams to avoid. We're looking at the low price, and it's going to be a bait and switch. And you're going to avoid these as much as possible. So I have seen these threads pop up on the SBC gaming subreddit for a long time. It was the RG405V, which is over $100. And they've been on sale for $51. And here's the thing, you're not going to get that. Usually what you see here, this little rinky-dink cheap plastic handheld, like a Tiger Electronics toy that costs like $1 on their website, that's what you're going to get. A lot of people ordered these, and that's what they got. And even though like a lot of people said don't buy it, it's a scam, people still fell for it. And I'm just like, well, there's a sucker born every minute, right? Listen, fellas, if it's too good to be true, it usually is. Look for the signs. The only legitimate crazy deals that I saw were on TikTok Shop, and you had to do your work to make sure the store was legitimate. If you order from Ambernick Direct, it was legitimate most of the time. There's like one guy who got a digital camera that was unfortunate, but for the most part, I got my item. I got an RG35XXH, and other people got their items too. So you got to put in the legwork to make sure it's real. The deal isn't real because you want it to be real, all right? The deal is real because the store is going to fulfill the order and ship you the item, and there are going to be signs of that if they do that. So here, yeah, you can't really see it, but you're going to see a lot of these listings where you're going to see a handheld that's priced really low, and then for some reason, there's going to be a little item here. Now, these are grayed out because they're out of stock, but the listings I saw had them in stock. So it doesn't matter if you click on that thing. If you see this item in the listing, you're going to get that item. And then finally, there's another scam where you just don't get a product. So you just see a low price. There's none of these items. It's just too good to be true. It is. You're not going to get the item. All right, things to do when you get your package. This is very important. Record yourself opening it, because a lot of these stores, a lot of these sellers, a lot of these manufacturers will require video evidence of a problem before they try to fix it. Like, for example, if you got a package with the wrong item, they want to have proof that you actually opened the package and you got the wrong item. For the Retro Pocket 4 Pros, when the trigger buttons were failing, they wanted video evidence of the trigger not working before they shipped you out something. So what I would recommend is getting a cheap phone holder, put it on a table, and then film yourself opening it. If you have a friend or relative, have them film you opening the package from the very beginning. Make sure everything is in clear plain sight, show the label off, and then rip it open, and then open the boxes, and then make sure, this is important, make sure you check the item right away and make sure everything works. Don't just leave it there and assume it's going to be good. If you have a problem, you want to make sure that you find it right away, and that you have video evidence of you opening the item. Okay, let's say you got everything and then there's something wrong, alright? Well, one thing you can do is request a refund. So if you order on Aliexpress, you can request a refund through them. Once again, they may require video evidence. That's why you always film yourself. Now, most of the time, if you were scammed, they know you were scammed and they'll give you a refund. Now, let's say they don't give you a refund. That's why you use PayPal, because you can go through PayPal and then you still have the video evidence. You have all the email correspondences. You give that to PayPal, and then PayPal will most of the time side with you and give you a refund. Now, let's say PayPal doesn't give you a refund. You can do a chargeback with your credit card company. That's the last step, and you want to avoid that as much as possible. But as long as you have the evidence, you document everything, and you provide that evidence, most of the time you can get a chargeback. A lot of people will just usually stop here because they get the refund. But yeah, sometimes you might have to go through PayPal or even get a chargeback. To summarize, I would at least get a new email address for your accounts, and I would at the very least use PayPal or some sort of privacy card. Those are bare minimum steps. Secondly, I would wait for a sale. If a deal is too good to be true, it usually is. But I would wait for a sale. The cheapest you can get items without doing much work is just to wait until the beginning of every month. At the end of the day, this is just a hobby. This is just things you do for fun. It's not a matter of life or death. So in my opinion, I don't think it's very necessary to get these handhelds. You can make do without them. So if you are worried at all, I would just go without them. Just you don't have to buy them. Alright, that's going to be it. Hopefully this video was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment down below. Usually I script my videos, but I felt like just going off the cuff on this one. So it might feel a little bit less focused than my usual videos. I still hope it was helpful for you guys. Anyways, hope you guys are staying safe and safe out there, and I'll catch you guys next time.